Moving on to some more coaching news, we have the Pacers. Nate McMillan, contract extendo. He's done a good job in Portland.
Listen, well, not in Portland, in Indiana.
Indiana, what did I say, Portland? He was in Portland.
Portland.
He used to coach Portland. That's where I got that from.
He did, and Indiana in general they've been impressive this bubble season. The Pacers for me have always been that fringe team, which you're always like, oh, they could make some noise, and then they don't, and then it's like, Pacers have always been that team when they have Paul George. To me, I don't think it's huge news. Listen, the Pacers are the Pacers to me. And we talk about how strong the West is compared to the East, and the Pacers are that middle pack of that.
He's a good coach. Team. I mean, he's coaching scraps into a legitimate, into a legitimate contender. Yeah. I don't think Indiana is ever going to get a star, right? But if they continue to draft well, at least Nate McMillan can coach and develop, right?
Correct, absolutely.
Oladipo has always been a decent scorer, but he kind of made Oladipo the focal point and kind of like unleashed him and made his game, he made him more of a 3-level scorer as opposed to just, get your 15, 16 points or something like that. Brad Stevens, extendo.
I love
coach.
That, man,
since coming over from Butler, dude, he's been a solid coach. And it's always a fun
his win percentage is like it's over 50%. I think it's close to 60%. He's got over 300 wins. I think it's around 320, maybe 330. He's only coached in 5 years. He's a great coach, one of the brightest basketball minds that we have.
Right.
I see him as the Celtics' long-term head coach. I don't think he leaves that team in the next 20, 30, 40 years. He's a smart guy. He knows how to draw up schemes. I love this guy. It's hard for me to say anything bad about Brad Stevens. He always says the right things at the right time. He draws off the right plays off the inbound. He's obviously developed these players. I mean, obviously he came in and there wasn't really much for the Celtics, but he had a lot coming in to him with all the picks that were coming in when he signed as a head coach. But the development, I think, my whole thing with him is the development of Marcus Smart. Coming out of college, he wasn't a shooter. He was just kind of a playmaker with a hot head. But now you see Marcus Smart. Now he makes the shots. He plays hardcore defense. He's a team player. I can't say enough about Brad Stevens. I think he's going to be better than Doc Rivers was in Boston. He's going to reach Red Auerbach numbers. It's just I couldn't be more happy. And it's been a long time coming for Brad. I hope he never leaves. I don't think he's ever going to leave. I love that guy. I do. I just love him so much. He's a great coach. He knows what he's doing. I couldn't be any more happy. They didn't say how long it's going to be extendo for. I'm hoping it's a lifetime extension where he doesn't leave ever. But that's it. It's just a quick Brad Stevens. I love you.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere, right? Because the Celtics, obviously, the future is bright. Like you have Kemba. I mean, the future is bright and the future is now. You have Kemba Walker for 5 years, right? And he's what, 30, 29, something like that. And you hope his knee holds
up.
Something
like that.
You hope his knee holds up. If it doesn't, If it doesn't, oh well. Like you paid the money, you had to pay the money. It's fine, right? And I trust the Celtics to get the most out of him, even if he isn't 100%. But I think he'll get back to near 100%. But you also have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and assuming those two guys stay, Brad Stevens has nowhere to go. There's no job that's going to be like top contender in the NBA. And there's always the rumor like, oh, if Coach K leaves, they're going to offer him like the lifetime deal over there. But like, I don't think it's natural for a coach to go from college success at Butler to NBA success with the Celtics and then back down to college. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So usually when I see that, I just kind of throw that. So I don't think he's going. I'm with you. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, like you said, the future's bright. Future's now. We talk about the Celtics, their depth. And, Rob Williams III's true shooting percentage this bubble is like 84%.
Yeah, because he doesn't take shots. He just dunks.
Listen,
that's the same thing with Mitchell Robinson. Like Mitchell Robinson.
do, man. That's all Ben
fine.
Simmons does.
That's fine.
Exactly.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just
listen,
saying
that's the thing. When Clint Capella was on the block, they were always talking about the Celtics trading for Clint Capella and how he would make an impact. But the team sees Rob Williams III as a Clint Capella like player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tall, lengthy, grabs the rebound.
He's gonna run. He's gonna rim run, and he's gonna dunk, and he's gonna catch lobs. You don't need him to do anything else.
That's all you need. I love him. Behind him with Taco Fall, with Carson Edwards, with Tremont Water, the Tremont Water, the G League MVP. I mean, all this. The Celtics. Listen, they draft right. Ainge is a great GM.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great head coach. They're great from the top down. They know what they're doing. Win or not, they know what they're doing. I'm never worried. So this is just a continuing success of this ball club, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. It's the future's bright. The future's now. You got the green Celtics hat on. You're prepped for it.
Let's go!
You could break that Isaiah Thomas jersey out of the closet if you want to.
Oh no, I haven't. I'll break the Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson. All right, excuse me. I got the wrong. I got the wrong 5'6" point guard.
They both wore number 4 too, baby. Gang.
All right, so a lot of coaching news. We got Alvin Gentry in hot water. I don't know if this has been. I feel like this has been like speculated, but nothing's been like concrete. Nobody's come out and said like, "Hey, we're gonna fire." Alvin Gentry, but after all the hype in the bubble, right? Well, let me break this. Let me break it down like this. Okay. Alvin Gentry was hired before the current leadership of David Griffin and Trajan Langdon, right? David Griffin came from Cleveland, I believe, and Trajan Langdon, who is aptly nicknamed the Alaskan
Corona.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Dude, listen.
Good? Out of your system now?
Allergies down here in the basement. Running around
yeah. So David Griffin, the Pelicans president CEO, I don't know what his official terminology is. Trajan Langdon, the GM, formerly of the Nets, nicknamed the Alaskan Assassin. That's a great nickname, isn't it? He went to Duke, So I think Alvin, like coaches who don't have success.
I didn't get it out of my system. Now I did.
I'm trying to make a point here, and you keep sneezing.
I can't help it, dude.
It's okay. Coaches with limited success, new regimes usually don't last long, right? I feel like it happens mostly in the NFL where like a head coach is there and a new GM comes in and they're like, oh, we like the system that he put in. We're going to let him ride it out. And then they go 4-12 and they fire him anyways. That's kind of what happened with the Pelicans, right? So I think the Pelicans are going to fire David Griffin. Not David Griffin, Alvin Gentry.
Alvin Gentry.
I think you have a phenomenal team around them, right? You have probably one of the brightest futures in the league, and you gave them a glimpse of what you can do, and Alvin Gentry was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do here, so I think they look for new opportunities here. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, a starting five, a potential starting five, right, of Lonzo Ball, who still needs to be developed, right? He shows his flashes, and he's obviously one of the better defensive point guards in the league already. You can't really teach that, but you can help it. But he needs to get a more consistent shot. He's already a good passer, but that still needs to be a little bit developed, finding lanes for him to actually pass it to or developing lanes, stuff like that. But they also have Drew Holiday. They have Brandon Ingram. They have Zion, and they have Jackson Hayes. That's 5 dudes right there. And they have JJ Redick, 6-man, right off the bench. They have 6 dudes right there. To me, that's one of the best starting 6s in the league, right? All of those dudes still probably need to be developed, though. And this is where I'm gonna ring the Kenny Atkinson bell, right? I'm gonna ring the. Do you not think? Okay, so Kenny Atkinson.
We talked about Kenny Atkinson in development.
Right. Right. And what is better to develop than all right? So you take a center. Hayes, Kenny Atkinson helped develop Jared Allen, right? You take a point guard from, the Lakers who got traded to another team, cough, cough, Brooklyn, cough, D'Lo, and made him an all-star and got him a max deal. Why not bring that in for Lonzo? Right? Why not?
I mean, listen, you have a proven head coach there,
to
too.
Trajan Langdon, who was the assistant GM at the Nets, the connection is right there. I don't see why. To me, it's easy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, come on. It's a win-win. We talk about development. You've mentioned the links between, centers and the point guard play. I mean, it was disappointing, I think, this bubble season for the Pelicans because they put Zion on such a heavy restriction, such a heavy minutes restriction, and we saw it in the Memphis Grizzlies game. I've seen it in the last 2 games where he's just looked gassed. He isn't physically ready to play basketball. I mean, you can't really blame that on Gentry, but you can blame. It's tough to put a lot of blame on him, but like you said, when you get a new GM and a whole new group come in and they don't have their guy, then guess what? If you can't prove it in that 1 year, then you're out of here. We need to get our guy in there because clearly you're not doing what we want you to do, and let's get our other guy in there. Gentry's a good coach, but I don't know.
I think he's stale, right? Like I think he's kind of. I think he's kind of run his course there. You have new faces, you have an entire new. Why not do a complete new rebranding? Get a coach that has had success in the NBA, right? And if you want to pick from, Jacques Vaughn, Jason Kidd, Ime Udoka, Ty Lue, Jeff Van Gundy, like that's a pretty solid list too. But I don't know if Ty Lue leaves the Clippers for a reclaiming project. I don't know if Jason Kidd does the same thing. Although Jason Kidd has been in every single interview or has had an interview with every single team looking for a coaching role. So like. We'll see where that goes. But I think Kenny Atkinson should be near the top of their consideration list. That's just my opinion.
No, 100%. He absolutely should. He's a great coach. I mean, he's a great coach, great guy. He knows what he's doing with the team. He knows how to build chemistry. He knows how to develop players. I mean, he's got a good track record. Why not? Give him a shot. I mean, you bring him in for an interview. Maybe he does what they want him to do. And who knows what David Griffin wants out of a coach.
Yeah.
But you want development, you want chemistry, especially in a young team like that you want to be able to play. You have a young Bi, you have a young Lonzo, a young Zion.
There's a lot of development that needs to happen. I just think Kenny Atkinson has the proven record of development around the league, right? And I've been a Kenny Atkinson like skeptic from like the X's and O's perspective, like but team built or not team building, getting guys like to be their best selves. That's something that he's really good at. So if he can come on and be an assistant, or if he can come on and be the head coach, like that's a win.